The 20th century was shaped, sometimes battered, by two world wars that shattered old assumptions about power and peace. From that devastation, new alliances and organizations rose, each with its own promises and pitfalls. But what really drove their creation? Was it idealism, ambition, or something in between? Let's unravel how the world wars forged the alliances that still shape our globe today. First, let's rewind to World War I. The carnage was unprecedented. Millions dead, empires toppled, and the belief that nations could act alone was proven dangerously naive. The League of Nations was born from the hope that open dialogue would trump open warfare, but its foundation was shaky. Without the US lacking enforcement power, it stumbled, unable to prevent the next catastrophe. World War II's devastation was even greater. This time, leaders knew half measures wouldn't cut it. Enter the United Nations in 1945. Learning from the League's failures, the UN set out to keep the peace, promote cooperation, and ideally, save future generations from the scourge of war. It's achieved some notable successes: peacekeeping in conflict zones and fostering humanitarian aid. But the Security Council's 5 permanent members hold outsized power, sometimes paralyzing the very mission they promised to uphold. Meanwhile, the threat of Soviet expansion after World War II prompted the West to create NATO. This wasn't just about defense, it was a promise attack won, and all respond. Over time, NATO expanded well beyond its original borders and mandate, sparking debates about its real purpose and the weight of American leadership within the alliance. On the home front in Europe, there was a hunger for peace and prosperity. The European Union started small, with coal and steel, but grew into the world's largest single market. Integration brought stability and economic strength, but also complaints about bureaucracy and the balance between national pride and shared sovereignty. Some see the EU as a model of cooperation. Others see a new center of power. In Southeast Asia, ASEAN formed in 1967, seeking stability and growth after colonial rule. Here, consensus is key. No one country calls all the shots. Member states value non-interference, which can mean slow progress, but helps prevent domination by any one nation, even as Indonesia's influence looms large. Fast forward to the 21st century and you get BRICS, a coalition of rising powers challenging a Western-centric order. By joining forces, they aim to amplify their voices and reduce reliance on the dollar. But with heavyweights like China and India inside, it's not always easy to keep unity or avoid suspicions of who's really in charge. If there's one thread running through all these alliances, it's the tension between collective ideals and national interests. Each organization, shaped by the lessons and wounds of the world wars, still grapples with the same balancing act: cooperation without losing autonomy. Ultimately, the legacy of the world wars isn't just lines on a map, but the global networks we rely on to keep the peace, however imperfectly. As the world changes, these alliances must adapt or risk repeating the mistakes of the past.